At what level would you or do you work with smaller law firms? And how small is too small?
Jared, I don't think that there is such a thing as too small in certain cases. Now, when you have a high-profile case and you have to get, for instance, maybe you need to get an opinion or a memorandum for your board, you probably want to use a larger name firm that everybody will recognize. If the news wants to pick it up, they can pick it up. It's a well-recognized firm. It's high-profile. But if you're filing a patent, if you're doing something that is more of a routine type of legal expertise that you need, and not just filing a patent, but doing certain kind of, maybe you need a tax opinion for something you're filing that you don't think is going to rise to, it doesn't seem to be to rise to that level. You might just use the best expert you know, which could really even, I'm trying to think, we have, in large companies, we have used solo practitioners for something like that. In fact, and we've used small firms. In fact, we even used a solo practitioner on a fairly high-profile case because that practitioner was very well known in that area. So I think that it depends on what you're using the firm for. Again, their reputation, their expertise, depending on the need that you're using them for.
Awesome. All right, Jeremy, go ahead.
I would agree with Debbie wholeheartedly. There's no specific criteria around size, but you do have to take it into account in terms of leveraging resources or various things depending on the size and scope and risk of the project. But from just a pure size law firm perspective, how small is too small? Debbie's exactly right. You could find an expert solo practitioner that just knocks it out of the park. And in fact, I don't mean to go too far down the sports metaphor, road, but Moneyball is something I think about a lot. And that thinking of how do you evaluate value? Are we looking at the right things? There's a lot of times where what would often in corporate law departments be considered a small firm or too small a firm, or sometimes you'll even hear boutique thrown around. And I think that if you're going to make those references, they have to fall into a metric that's relevant to that specific need or project. Otherwise, you should be looking at who's going to deliver value based on who you are and what you need, and not based on sort of arbitrary measures like that. So getting a way to evaluate those things quickly, it does matter how many people could be working on my case and what resources could be leveraged to make sure we win. Those types of things do matter, and you want to be able to see those as outside counsel presents to you and see them clearly and easily up front, but not weigh them too heavily when what you're really worried about is value and the outcome.